What's up, Rockstars? Today I'm going to be telling you about what I backed in January. Now, this is actually kind of a big month for me, in that I spent hundreds of dollars in January. It was a rough one for sure. A lot of pledge managers opened. Now, I could have let some of them slide a little bit, but then I tend to forget, or I get all these email reminders constantly, and sometimes it's better just to do it while you can, and I understand that. Not everybody can, and, obviously you may not match with me, but let's see how we compare, and I'll explain why I backed what I backed. And in fact, I have a really cool one where we're going to be doing it slightly live here, so that'll be kind of interesting to do as well. Anyway, let's get right to it. Now, as always, I'd like to start with a quick thank you to my patrons and YouTube members. It is through their financial support that I am able to bring you the content that I am, whether it's all this stuff that I backed, where I actually show you what I backed and why, or whether it's just doing a review and knowing that I can review a game without relying on a game developer because I didn't accept any money from them. That sort of independence and honesty can only come from being completely independent from that. So I do appreciate that. If you're able to give to that cause, there is a link down below to either of those, and I greatly thank you for that. But if not, that's fine too. A simple like or a comment saying that this was helpful, trust me, it makes it all worthwhile. It really does. So hopefully you find some use in this video. I actually kind of enjoy explaining why I do the things that I do, because then I know also why. And I think I'm already starting to pick up some trends, and I'll discuss that in a little bit too. So, all right, let's go and start with the obvious. I've backed Primal: The Awakening. Now, it hasn't finished yet. As of recording, it has 9 days to go. That gives you an idea of how down to the wire I record these things. It's with a full-time job and a big family and spending time with them and all that, it's hard to produce this many videos a week, and so I hope maybe you appreciate that and can understand why I never get any sleep. Anyway, it's done amazing at like 1.8 million. Like, it's doing really good. It's at 7.6 thousand backers with plenty of time to go still, which is impressive. I have backed at the Gameplay All-In Early Bird, so that is 239 euros, which is $291. Now, an all-in sub 300 is actually, I consider, pretty good. I guess, okay. In general, the types of games that I like, skirmish games, dungeon crawlers, all that kind of stuff, that tends to be around the 300-ish range of an all-in. 300 and some change, typically 320, 350. After 350, it gets a little kind of iffy to me again. That's kind of the range I tend to go for, and that's just in my head, and I don't know why or where that came from. I think it's just in general, that's what it tends to be. And if I see something like 400 and plus as an all-in, I'm like, whoa, it's way too much, right? Way too much game. I don't need all that. But a sub $300, so like probably 30 after shipping's all done, maybe a little bit more. For a game that I know I like is a little different. And that's really the key for me, because I've played this, I understand you haven't, and I wish I could just play it with all of you guys, mainly because then I get to play it more, but also so that you guys get to experience too. It is kind of a benefit of doing this YouTube thing, is I get to play a lot of these games and then be like, yeah, I actually liked that, and I'll play it. Which, it's hard to get that confidence. Unless they're repeats. So like Conan. I went all in on the Conan Conquest for the same reason, because I love Conan. I've played every single Conan game of retail, a lot of them more than once, all of the expansion ones, and now even some of the Kickstarter stuff. And I even went and got some of the stuff secondhand, scalper prices, and it's because I'm okay spending money if I'm guaranteed to get a ton of love and enjoyment out of it. There's not that risk of, I hope I like it, or I hope my group likes it. It's a given deal. And so I'm a lot more forgiving of games that I know I enjoy. And I think that kind of makes sense, right? Like, if you loved Gloomhaven, Frosthaven is kind of a no-brainer. Now, that Kickstarter was a little weird because you're not really getting a lot for the Kickstarter, but you get what I'm saying, though, right? Like, if it's a sequel to a game that you've loved, or a second, printing, and you're like, oh, now I can get all those expansions because I loved the first, it just makes sense, right? So I know I like Primal a lot, and so the $300 to get everything and fight these new monsters that I can see, I think that's awesome. I'm excited for that, actually. So anyway, no-brainer for me in that regard. And also, real quick, I've seen a lot of comments about content, and I think it's funny that we view content based off of miniature count, which is really funny to me. If instead of these giant dragons and monsters, if they just had a whole bunch of 32mm miniatures, and like 20 copies of a single sculpt zombie like Zombicide or something like that, and you got 100 minis, I kind of doubt people would actually be complaining as much. And it's fine, because I get it, and I do the same thing where I've already figured out kind of the price point, and at the core box, depending on what we unlock in stretch goals, I estimate about $10 per monster, which $10 for a 75 to 150 millimeter miniature plus a game attached to it isn't that bad anyway, in my mind. But the expansion's obviously a little bit less so, but they're never as good of a deal as like cost per what you get as the core box, because the quantity isn't there for them to manufacture as many, and that makes sense too. But either way, like, I think it's just kind of interesting that we kind of do that, and I do the same thing, which is why I've already figured out the price point for it. But yeah, I don't know, it's kind of odd. But you know, it is what it is. This is an expensive hobby, and it's a really fun game with some cool looking minis. So I'm excited for them. I think they look cool, and I like painting big miniatures, and I'm glad I can paint an all-in and probably not actually paint that much. Like, that's kind of nice too. It's kind of a bigger but less, right? As opposed to, in fact, I need to check what the Drugori Games, what their Dragon expansion was, and if it was less per mini than this, or more per mini than that. I don't know. I'll check that out. Or maybe one of you guys can tell me what the price per mini is, of the game there. Anyway, the cost is actually in developing the game, right? Printing a miniature costs very little when it comes to, you're pretty much just paying for the plastic injected into the mold. The expensive part is the mold. But I guarantee all of these fit on one, big old steel block thing that they have. And so then they just print them out cheap, right? And it's selling a whole lot of quantity, that you get the money from. So that's not really the cost, right? Sculpting miniature takes time, but developing a game that plays well and is balanced takes way more time. So it is kind of funny that we dismiss, who cares about the game, and how much game I'm getting from that. What I want to know is how many minis. It's just kind of funny. I'm moving on for that because I rambled too much. Epic 7 Arise, the board game. So I'm at 930 Hong Kong dollars. What the heck does that mean? That is $120. That's where I'm at right now. And I guess we'll see. I don't know. I'll probably just stay at this level, until the campaign ends, and then look at the, Pledge Manager. And part of the reason I can wait is because I will actually be getting a copy of this to show off to you guys. I don't know if I get to keep it. I don't know its state or what it's going to look like or be in or all that. Apparently they wanted a nicer copy to send to me. I can understand that if I unbox it. So they could have asked me just not to unbox it. I would have been fine with that too. But I guess if it's really prototypey, then maybe not. But anyway, I really like, the idea of painting anime miniatures with the bright colors and all that kind of stuff. Some of this is a little too anime for me, if you know what I mean, but a lot of it's also really cool. This reminds me of a Code Vein or something like that. But I mean, look at that hair. That's just cool, right? How the hair is there. I love that. And the crazy weapon that they have. This one looks fun as well. Again, I actually really like the hair. I think that looks awesome. And then the fur shoulder pad and stuff like that, and it just looks like a lot of fun. Miniature wise, look at that. There's some crazy miniatures here. This the miniature design is actually pretty cool. I think I even like these little frog guys that you start out the game with fighting. The standees are kind of, I don't know about that. The story and how you kind of run through there and get these quests and stuff like that actually seems pretty good. It seems like a kind of an interesting game. I'll have to let you guys know, obviously, but I'm totally fine going in with the deluxe pledge here to get those deluxe stretch goals and whatnot. And I mean, if $120 for a game and an expansion and all the stretch goals, worst case scenario, and I hate it, and I put it into the pot to give away at the end of the year to you guys or something like that, or give it to a patron or sell it, or I can do any number of things. Either way, I think it looks interesting and cool, and that's, again, $120 for the deluxe version. Not that bad. Okay, moving on. This is the fun one. The Darkest Dungeon. I have not completed this Pledge Manager yet. I'm going to tell you why. First of all, this was kind of a little bit of an annoyance in that, okay, so I think I clicked it when I first got the email, and I think I got rid of my pledge. But either way, it's you have 150 credits. But I don't know what pledge I have. I go to my pledge, and I have the $300 pledge. And I'm okay, well, the $330 pledge. Well, obviously that's not what I pledged. I actually went on, because it doesn't tell you what this was originally set for from Kickstarter. At least if I deleted it, it doesn't, there's no way for me to find out from here what it originally was. So I had to go to Kickstarter and see, okay, what was the 150? I could have looked here, and I did kind of glance at that, and I suspected it was this Crimson Pledge, but it could have been the Dungeon Pledge plus a specific expansion, if the Kickstarter supported that, or, maybe I added it, and like this, I actually had this pledge, and I was purposely thinking I only want the warrants or something like that. It had been a while, and I just didn't remember, because I backed it like early on. So, that was kind of frustrating. And then I'm like, okay, well, now I'm here. Okay, well, I want to go and get this. So I'm going to go and use my credits on this. And it kicks you back to the project. It's like, well, no, I wanted to check out. Like, I wanted to use them, not go sign up for more stuff and not use them yet. Anyway, here's my predicament. Okay, and this is something I haven't decided yet. I'm not going to go to the checkout with you guys just because, of card information and whatnot, but so I actually kind of hate that I have to scroll down here. Like, this is kind of annoying. I wish this was a separate page. I wish that this was a landing page for people who were new, but otherwise, if I wanted to actually spend money or, add what I wanted to add, I would just see this. Like, that would be a lot better, in my opinion. Anyway, okay, so Ancestral Pledge saves you, I think, $20 from adding it. Like, if you had the Crimson Pledge and then added the other ones manually, I think it's about $20 off. Okay, so $30. Shoot, what is it? Let's see, 150. Then we got that's with this one, so then it's 200, 350 versus 330. So yeah, just $20. So save $20 to get that. The problem is this Color of Madness thing here. So and actually, I didn't even notice this at first. So they have this new stuff, and I don't care about alternate sculpts, or I don't even necessarily care about the terrain stuff per se. I need to look into that a little bit more, or an organizer or anything like that. But the neoprene mats, Mythic Games always does stitched neoprene mats. They typically do really good ones. And I really like rolling dice on neoprene mats, and it protects my table a little bit. Sometimes I play with my kids, and kids are kids. Anyway, so I'm looking at this. I'm like, $30. That's for a neoprene stitched mat that's custom like this. That's actually pretty good. There are normally about 25 unstitched, so a stitched one at 30 I think is great. I've told them they need so it says stitched now. I have to say, I spoke to Leo because they weren't saying stitched on a previous campaign. I'm like, you should say, it was hell they didn't mention that one. You should say it's stitched. It says that it's not designed to fit the Color of Madness expansion setup. I'm like, what the heck was that? Oh, by the way, you can't click this image to make it bigger. You have to click the plus. Another little annoyance. I get bothered by these little things. But it's got this stuff built in on it, which is nice. So it'll quicken setup because I don't have to set this up as a tray, which is also kind of nice. Just roll it out. And look, the modal doesn't close. I have to click the X to close the modal. Again, annoyance. It's funny that there's English here because is there any text? I guess Darkest Dungeon, and then these. I guess will they print that in other languages? That's crazy. Didn't even know that. Okay, so going back, that's $30 though, right? So now we're at $360. All right, so if we go back to new add-ons, I think will put me down here at least. Okay. So I want to fit the Color Madness, and I'd forgotten what this even was. So I looked at this, and it's essentially an alternate way of playing. It's a wave-based kind of survival thing. Typically, I'm not a fan of alternate ways of play. I feel like they're probably not play tested as much. They're just kind of an interesting thing to do once or twice, but then that's not will I get my benefit from the 50 that I'm doing on this, right? Because if I didn't get this, then that saves 50, and I'm actually down $20. Plus, I get the neoprene mat. And then they had to go and add minis, and that's the hard part, right? It's I don't know if you can use these in the main game. It'd be great if you could, but I don't know if you can. Not part of the campaign, right? It's 3 new bosses. I mean, that's 1, 2, 3. That's fine. But it's in this new wave-based game thing, which I'm not a super big fan of. I don't know. I feel like I need to not get this one and just get the neoprene and save $20. But then it's if the difference is $20, well, I guess the difference is, I mean, if the difference is $20 more, then maybe I don't know. It's hard. 1 90-minute setting, it's okay, that's fine, I guess. I just don't know. Maybe I just get them both. But again, this is another $50, right? So I think I've decided the neoprene mat is definitely something I'm going to get. So that's a guaranteed 30. So now the difference is, do I spend an extra 50 or not? Though, again, it's really only $20 because this is or $30 because this is a $20 savings. So I'm spending $30 to get that. And it's like, well, okay, is $30 worth this? If this is $30 to get versus adding everything up, that's the hard part. Would I get $30 worth of enjoyment out of this? I don't know. It depends. If I played it twice, that's $15 for a game session, which I actually don't think is that bad, cost-wise when it comes to spending money on entertainment, right? But even if I paint one, it's even better. I don't know. If they were added into the core box where I could, or the core game where I could fight against these guys, it would almost be a no-brainer. I don't know. I'll mull it over, I guess. That's where I'm at with this, though. I'm spending $300 plus on this, no matter what. It just depends on what I end up getting. And there's some other stuff here. And I'm not gonna get sleeves. I tend not to. It's expensive, first of all. I believe the storage will actually fit them. The alternate sculpts, they look cool. But I think the original ones look cool too. So, I'm fine having the ones I have. Again, the storage tray thing, I'm not going to get. The art book. The art books are cool, but I really prefer art books that have lore in them. So probably not that. And the Musketeer I'm already getting. So, yeah, I guess I need to look at this and see if this is chess? Like, what is it? Gold tokens. Backdrops are kind of cool. I kind of did the backdrops. I don't think you would use that at all, so I'm not going to do that. Exploration tokens. Sticker sheet. What? Now get out of here with sticker sheets. I don't want no sticker. What's that? A Hamlet board? What is this? I don't know what the Hamlet board is. 59 plastic tokens. You get gold tokens, just different values of it. Loot tokens. Sticker sheet for exploration tokens. A fabric bag for loot tokens. 9 double-sided cardboard location backgrounds, and 1 double-layered Hamlet board. Oh, so it's just double-layered, so you have like a little slot in with it, which is, sticker sheet. I think you put the sticker on the bottom, perhaps? Is that what they're saying you do? So you know how much you got? Maybe. I don't know. Like it's on the alternate side. Yeah, I don't think I want to mess with stickers at all. I'm really worried about stickers. Anyway, okay. All right, so I think that's where I'm at. You know what? At the end of the day, just to have it, I'll probably grab this, because if nothing else, if I do, end up selling it or anything like that, it's like, well, I got the all-in, so I got everything, and I'm not missing anything. So, yeah, that's what I'll end up doing. There you go, you got it. All right, let's go to Massive Darkness 2. I spent a lot of money here. That being said, at least I spent it a while ago, so I gave them $275 at the time of the Kickstarter, and that was for the gameplay all-in. If there's a gameplay all-in versus an all-in, I almost always do the gameplay all-in. I'd rather spend my money on more board games elsewhere than on getting all the, razzadass stuff around a specific one. And again, unless I know I like it, and if I know I like it, I'm fine spending all sorts of money on it. I don't know if I like this. I liked the first one well enough, and I like the class mechanics of this one. Either way, they're charging me $43.66 to ship all this, which is a ton. Oh, that's another thing. So I guess I'm not going to go there, but the checkout here is worldwide $65 for Darkest Dungeon, which is one of the highest I've paid. I rarely get into the 60s, and so anything that's $60 like that, that's a lot. That's a whole lot. So $43.66 sounds much more in line with what I would expect for one of these kind of big games. I would love for Darkest Dungeon to be able to do in the 40s to the US. 65 just seems like so much. That's a lot. Because this is getting like everything. Like let's go visit the let's see what I'm getting here. What's the gameplay all in? What am I getting here? I don't want to go to the updates. That's dumb. Okay, I'm getting the Hellscape, the campaign mode Heavenfall, the upgrade pack, which is nice for the 1.0, the Gates of Hell enemy box, the War of Souls enemy box, the Four Horsemen box, the Demon Dragon box, the Druids versus Beelzebub box, and all of the stretch goals. Let's see what that looks like here. So here's just the core game. So let's go to the gameplay all in here. Gameplay all in. So all of the core game, all of the campaign, the upgrade pack, This big old dragon expansion, this expansion here, this expansion here, this expansion here, and this expansion here. Which is, again, not bad. And where's the, you get the Kickstarter discounts as, or the Kickstarter stuff as well. The stretch goals. Not the optional buys. Where are the stretch goals? Stretch goals! Plus all of this stuff, right? So this box here as well with all of this, which is, again, also a lot of stuff. I know this comes in its own box, right? Like, there's a lot. There's a lot for $43. I feel it's probably about the same volume-wise as Darkest Dungeon. They're both pretty big. Either way, they're pretty relative. So to have it like $20 difference seems really huge to me. I feel like it's overcharged on the Mythic Games one. Alright, next is the Death Goddess Izanami one. I went and did this one as well. As you can see, it is both the Seki and Juzu STL, but you really only got one. You could add 12 for the other one, which I did ahead of time, so I could grab the Mana Second Sacrifice STL as well. And I did end up grabbing both busts. I know I kind of hemmed and hawed about this. And in fact, I got the Izanami bust, the regular one, not the alternate. And here's why. First of all, it saves me from doing her eyes, and I'm not good at eyes, and so that saves me a little bit there. I liked her hair more. And the other one, I didn't like the skinny pigtails that she had. And I like the flowing robe versus nothing. The other one just seemed lesser, right? It didn't have the clothes. It didn't like the hair was, very much kind of tight and neat and everything like that. And then I also had to do the eyes, and I'm like, maybe I don't want to do that because I just messed up. I didn't feel like I could do a good job on it. So, and it was like €5 more. So I'll just save €5 too. And if it's not that big of a difference, may as well save some money, right? So that's where I was at on that. The only other one I did was Tenjin, and as you can see, this one was just a clean through. There was no stretch goals, no nothing. I did the 20 New Zealand dollars, and that just went straight through, and I got everything. So I was really happy with that as well. That is it. That's what I backed on January. As you can see, a lot of money. And again, that is only possible thanks to all of you, whether it's just watching without an ad blocker or just liking, the videos so that it's shown through YouTube more. The vast majority of views actually come from you guys seeing it on like your when you first visit YouTube, and it kind of recommends it to you, and you click on that. That's where most of it comes from. And again, that's from likes, that's from comments, stuff like that. So all of that really does help, and I do appreciate it. Nothing else, just like chatting with you guys. So what did you guys back? Was January a rough month for you like it was for me? Like, I feel like 2021 came in, just hit me with a brick wall when it came to my wallet. That's a lot. But anyway, that's it for me. I will be talking to you guys again very soon about some really cool stuff. I'll be talking about that. I know that needs to be talked about. I'll be talking about Fallen Knight. I know that needs to be talked about. And then after that, there's a really cool unboxing because I'm going to get Bloodborne on Monday. So, excited to see that as well. That's another big game. It's going to be a big unboxing. You might want to go to the store before unbox that and grab like some ice cream, some snacks, I don't know, chips. I don't know what you guys eat. Grab a drink, get comfortable, maybe even watch it on the couch. It's going to be a big game, and there's going to be a lot there. So looking forward to going through that. And yeah, otherwise, I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.